My name is Bryan Lopez. I am part of the Monday, Wednesday, Friday class at 10 a.m. with Professor Dink. My group did a research project on sex trafficking. We split up the project into several different categories within individuals in the group. My part in the group was to do research based on the United States and how there's sex trafficking within the United States, and also with celebrities. And I did a focus on the Super Bowl that just occurred in January 2020. This project definitely opened my eyes towards sex trafficking and just how much there is going around in the United States. Beforehand, I would think of sex trafficking as something that maybe occurred in places like Cambodia or places like China, where I guess the media portrays sex trafficking as going on in those places. But the truth is that there's sex trafficking going on everywhere, and the United States is one of the biggest players in sex trafficking, especially in Miami, where I attend school. Just a couple minutes from where I attend school, the Super Bowl was held, Super Bowl 54. And during the Super Bowl week, the Miami Herald reported that there will be more sex trafficking held in that week than in several months in the United States combined. And this has to do with just the amount of men that are attending this game. You know, according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, 87% of consumers of sex trafficking are men. And, these pimps who control the sex trafficking come down to Miami, and they offer these young women who range from the ages of 12 to, adults, and they're offering them to these clients who are attending the Super Bowl games. Reading the article on the intersection of sex and race definitely helped me better understand just how difficult it could be for these women, especially of women who are multiply burdened. Just how difficult it can be for them to raise above the ceiling, as the article refers to it. Essentially, what the article was referring to this as the basement theory, that there's, a ceiling, and above the ceiling, there's the advantaged people, and beneath the ceiling, there's the disadvantaged people. And within the disadvantaged people, or the people who are in the basement, there's two different levels, I guess you can say. And there's the people who are all the way in the bottom, which are people who are multiply burdened, maybe because of their race or their gender or their sexual orientation, or, just many different factors. Their religion can also play a role in this. And there's people who are on top of them who are still burdened, but maybe not as bad as the people who are all the way in the bottom. And essentially, there's very, very, very few people who make it out and make it above the ceiling. But those people who are all the way in the bottom, such as these sex trafficking victims, who, according to the sex trafficking and sex industry in the St. Thomas database research, these sex trafficking victims are likely to be of color and are likely to be of foster care systems, which just makes them even more burdened. And after they have been victims of sex trafficking, they are furthermore, they're raped and they're drugged, and they're even more burdened, which pushes them more down into this, so-called basement. And it's essentially impossible for them to ever get out. It's just mind-blowing to me that these women who are multiply burdened and have so much going on are being treated like this by men. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, 87% of the consumers of sex trafficking, or essentially the people who are involved with sex trafficking and the people who are paying for, these women, are men. 87% are men, according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics. And it's just crazy to think that these women are being treated like this. They have so much going on with them, and they're so multiply burdened that, this just adds on top of their list. And you may think that, the type of men who are, doing this must be, low-level scumbag men. But no, there's many celebrities and many famous people who are doing these crimes. And according to USA Today, we're going to stay with football. Robert Kraft, who is the owner of the New England Patriots, was involved in a multi-billion-dollar industry ring with sex trafficking. And it's just crazy to think that an owner of a National League football team was involved with such a horrendous crime of sex trafficking and doing these things to, you know, women who have almost nothing going for them. And it's crazy that someone of this wealth and this fame can be still doing this. I definitely don't feel as if I am multiply burdened. I'm not being persecuted for my gender. I'm not being persecuted for the color of my skin. I'm not being persecuted for my religion. After seeing all the cases of these women and everything that they go through and how multiply burdened they are according to just society, it's crazy to think that, you know, they're still here fighting and they're still here going out every day and doing the best that they can.